Hello and welcome to the initial order tutorial where we're going to show you how to place your initial order for the Girl Scout cookie program. First thing we want to do is log into eBuddy and see real quick that the date for being able to get that completed by is February 3rd. You can enter it anytime from here on out until February 3rd, but you do want to get it input because otherwise it does lock you out of the system. So let's show you kind of some things that you need to do to prepare to get all of that entered. First thing we want to do is on February 1st, it is going to unlock the girl tab that you can now add girls that have not been uploaded into the system. And you'll just be able to simply write their name, either write in their GSUSA ID number or give them a temporary one, their grade, and then click update. You won't be able to mark them registered simply because that is something council does, is make sure that they actually are registered. We do ask that even if you can delete them, please don't leave them. It doesn't hurt anything. Your average is based on girls selling, not girls in the troop. So if we can keep them in there and just simply move them at some point, that does help us just being able to make sure all girls are actually loaded in the system. And even if you don't want them there, just let us know and we can move them out and into a holding troop for a little bit. And then we want to make sure we've actually collected all of the girls' order cards. And so right now I've got one of my 3 girls' order cards that we have created here, and they have 3 orders. A couple of things that you should be telling your girls before they turn them in is that they should be writing down all of their digital order girl delivery. So any digital order card things that have girl delivery and the parents have had to accept those. If it's shipped, it automatically ships from a different place, and we don't actually need to order those cookies for the program, for the initial order. But, and they will count for the initial order, they just don't need to be ordered like the girl delivery ones do. That's how we ensure that these boxes actually count for the initial order. So you actually write it onto the order card just like you would any other order. It's the exact same thing except for they paid, so check when paid. These ones paid cash and check, but this one was paid through the digital order card, so digital payment. As you can see, we added it up. Oh, scroll up a little bit. We added it up, and $52 in cash and check and 20 for a total of 72. It is nice when the parents actually add up the order so that you don't have to be the one responsible for getting all of that. So I highly recommend reminding them to actually add it up somewhere on their order card for a total of 18 boxes. And these would all be something that would be local that we would deliver. Once again, if it doesn't say girl delivery and it says shipped, do not place them on the order card. You would be duplicating those boxes and you would need to find another way to sell them later on. So we'll jump back and we will use those numbers. As you can see, we even had a donated box, and in this case we're going to call it a Cookies from the Heart, but really it works about the same for the initial order. So if you did your own Gift of Caring program versus Cookies from the Heart, that's okay. It'll work exactly the same when we actually go to the initial order tab. So then on the initial order tab you can see all 3 of our girls are listed. We are going to go ahead and click on one of them, and as you can see, it opens down here at the bottom for me to be able to input those numbers. And as long as I have these numbers right, I should have had 1 for Cookies from the Heart. I had 0 Savannah Smiles ordered. I had 1 Trefoil, 1 Do-Si-Do, 6 Samoas, of course. Somebody was just being a little adventurous and wanted one of those rah-rah raisins. We had 2 Tagalongs, and of course 6 Thin Mints. And because we were doing Cookies from the Heart, we didn't have any Gift of Caring being ordered. So I would simply say okay, and I would also want to make sure that I actually click save. So you can make all of your changes before you hit save for each of the girls, but you do want to make sure you click that one. And then I could go in and I can add for all of the other girls whatever may have been their purchases. So we'll just write in some numbers really quick here. And maybe this person just didn't have as many. And once again, we'll fill out this last one with just a couple, just to make sure we give every girl some credit here. So we have all of our girls entered, and then we need to decide a couple of things. First of all, whether or not we ordered any Toffee-tastic. You could not order them on the order card, and you couldn't order them on the online system, but you can order them for your initial order for your troop to sell during its booth sales. If you placed an order with us in early September, we will have already imported that number for you, and it'll show up on this import row here. Otherwise, you can either click the other option or booth. They essentially work the same. They're just extra boxes that you're ordering. You can use both if you have a reason to do the other. So some people might say this is going to be what I'm using for my goal getter, at least initially. In case you need more, then this is what you use for booth. But however you want to calculate it, it is fine. If you didn't order Toffee-tastic, what you would do is you'd click on the other or booth. I'm going to use the other column just so that it's separate, and I'm going to order one case because that is the max I can order, and a case is 12 boxes, and I'm going to click OK for my, and I made a little mistake, so I'm just going to click on that again. Oh, and apparently I did take it off, so I will have to put a little switch in there so that we can actually order Toffee-tastic for the initial order. I think we'll just have to correct that to make sure everybody that wants one can get one. And then in our booth, excuse me, when we are going to order for our booths, we have what's called the booth sale cookie variety calculator. And what you can do is simply say, how many booths do I estimate our troop is going to do? It could be 1. And it gives me approximately how many cases I should order. So right around 8 total cases, or 96 boxes for one booth. And then of course, if I was going to be crazy, I could say we're going to do 20. But if you notice, my troop is just a daisy troop, so I think we're just going to start out with just a couple. And we are going to say we're going to do 2 booths, because that's what we've signed up for. We have an Albertsons and we have a Walmart, and we think that's what we want to start out with. And really we want to think, how many booths am I going to do for the first weekend, or possibly even the second weekend if you're really going for it. But please, please, please don't over order at this point. There is going to be plenty at the cupboards, and we will be able to reorder from Little Brownie up until the very last week. So I do caution against ever ordering too much, because you just never know what weather is going to be like, and if you get rained out your first weekend and you ordered for all of them, that can be pretty detrimental to your sale. So as you can see, we have some rough averages here, the 5-2-1 rule, and then half cases for both Rah Rah and Toffee-tastic. So we don't seem to need a whole lot. So we're going to go back in and we're going to try and get our numbers to look right when we order for our booths. So we're going to click the booths and we're going to be adding. And remember, this is all in boxes. So Savannah Smiles, we just want 12 at this point. We're going to just do rough numbers like it said. Same with Trefoils, same with Do-si-dos, we want 12. But Samoas, we're going to get 5 times 12 is 60. Oh, it didn't. I must have that turned off. Let's see. There it goes. And the Rah Rah Raisin, we're just going to go with 6 and see where that puts us. And then we're going to look at the tagalongs. We want 2 cases at least. So we go 24 and another 60 of those. Then I want to do a quick verification of what I have down here at the bottom. So when I say OK, and it shows me how many extras I have. If I have almost a case in extras, what I might want to consider doing is revising what I have in the booths. So this, I'm going to have 11 extras, which means I'm not just going to get a couple of cases. I'm going to have 3 full cases more to order just to cover, or 2 full cases when really all I wanted was 1 extra. So what we're going to do is we're going to just ever so slightly change that to be, instead of 12, we're going to change that to 11, because 11 plus 1 is then 12. And I'm going to click OK. And as you can see, now I have 0 extras. And even though I only have 11 boxes to sell, remember, everything gets delivered in full cases. So if I have just one over a number that's divisible by 12, it's going to give me at least an extra box. So here I'd only have 9, so I have to decide, do I want 9 extras, or do I want to just have essentially 9 boxes to sell at my booth? So I think, I want to be safe for my Savannah Smiles. We're only going to do a couple of them. If we run out, I think I'm going to be okay. So I'm going to change that number from 12, because I'm already going to get 9 of them. I'm going to change it to 9, so that when I say OK, I have no extras. So that means I only get 9 for my booths, but I also don't have 9 extras plus my case that I had. So I would have had 12 plus 9 that I had to sell, which was a little bit more than my averages. So you just need to be careful, especially if you're trying to cut this. If you're ordering lots and lots, just keep the averages up high, especially on Samoas and Thin Mints. And you shouldn't be in too critical need to make sure you have no extras. So on Do-Si-Dos, I might want to do the same, where I change that back to the number that I have in extras, so that I'm not ordering too many. And see, once again, I have 0 extras coming, because now I know I'm getting exactly 1 case total. I'll be able to fill all my orders, but I only get 8 for my booths. For Samoas and Thin Mints, it doesn't matter. So 3 extra probably isn't a big enough deal. 9 extra on Samoas. You can decide if you want to get rid of those extras by, once again, subtracting them out. So you go on here, you do the 9 that you don't want, so you'd be down to 51, and you click OK. And, apparently I've got something blocking it. Oh, that didn't quite get rid of what I wanted it to do. I still want all the ones that I wanted, so what do I need? So I want 57. Is that what I want to do? And then I get my 0. So I get my 72 boxes. And sometimes you will just have to play with it a little bit to see, because sometimes it orders a little bit backwards from what you're thinking. So you need to make sure you have enough to fill your order, and then I have 57 extra to fill. And then same with right here. I have just 2 extra, but I only ordered a half a case, so having a couple extra probably isn't going to be that big of a deal. I might just leave that one alone, and if I just happen to get stuck. Same with 5 tag-alongs. I may need them. Sometimes tags sell really, really well. Sometimes you can't tell. They're the 3rd favorite, so they're always a little bit of a dark horse there. And then Thin Mints 3, I'm not going to bother. So I'm just not going to try and correct those. I'm going to be okay with the little bit of extra that I got. Finally, I'm just going to click Submit My Order, and I am done. The next thing I would do after that is I would make sure, I've made changes, so I want to make sure I save them. And then I'm going to come over here to the rewards. And if I had anybody that sold more than 250, which it doesn't appear I do, all of them receive 0, but I'm still going to go ahead and submit it just because that's what I want to do. And that makes sure that I can do that. And if my delivery tab is open for my service unit, I can go there, but because I have not submitted my initial order, it's not going to let. As soon as I do, I can come here and I'll be able to see all my delivery options, see where it's going to happen, what the day that my service unit cookie manager is picked, and be able to do that. So submit the initial order. Then we jump over to see our initial rewards. We can fill out and then submit that as long as it looks correct, but that's only for girls that sold over 250 in the initial order. And then jump back and you can check out the delivery as long as you have actually submitted an initial order. If you have any questions, you can give the volunteer support team a ring at the council offices, or you can shoot us an email. So just let us know if this was helpful or not, and if you have any other questions about what you might need to do to submit your order. Thanks.